Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So there were some changes to Sombras EMP and a lot of misinformation cleared up by Blizzard. As most of you know by now, there were some ultimate changes which basically meant instead of the ultimate meter being drained almost from 100% to 0, it immediately hits 0 when you use the ability. And also things like Lucio's ultimate, which would reset to 0% with ult charge when he hits the ground, now do it as soon as he presses Q. Most of you know this, we actually did a video way back when going over which ultimates can actually be stun locked, meaning that they would lose their ultimate charge and also not get a pulse bomb out and that kind of thing. Well, we kind of want to reference that video because this is a very similar thing and a lot has changed, but this time instead of focusing on the flashbang with McCree, we'll use some clips in this video as well. We want to focus on Sombra's hack and EMP. It does say in the patch notes as well that Sombra's hack can now interrupt Nano Boost, Supercharger, Blizzard, Earthshatter and D.Va's Core Mech, but there are a few problems with that we've myth-busted before and are going to again. Before we get started, we need to go over the 3 types of ultimates that the patch notes went over and also told us a bit more information about how this is going to work. There are 3 types: as transformation, channeled and cast time ultimates. Transformation ultimates are stuff like Bastion's tank mode, Dragon Blade, tactical visor, where something happens that enables this character to get another ability, Widowmaker's Infrasight for example. All of these abilities cannot be stun locked. This was the same result with the McCree tests that we had before. You can't stun out tactical visor, molten core, tank mode, but Genji's Dragon Blade actually did get used up. This is actually in the patch notes, as Dragon Blade is no longer interrupted when Genji is stunned or hacked, and we will quickly show you that with the Sombra hack as well. Now when you get to the channeled ultimates and cast time ultimates, this is where the results start getting a little bit different, both from the McCree experience and also the Sombra one. Cast time ultimates are the similar sort of ultimates to Transcendence, Deadeye, Barrage, where they last over a certain period of time and they eventually run out. And then you have the cast time ultimates, which are near instantaneous. Nano Boost, Blizzard, Supercharger, EMP, Earthshatter, that kind of stuff. So let's go through left to right and go over which heroes have what effects with EMP and McCree. Doomfist's ultimate before couldn't actually be stunned out, and it's a very similar case here with EMP. It's worth adding that Doomfist and Zenyatta are the only heroes that have channeled ultimates that can't be interrupted. For that reason, we haven't gone over the likes of McCree, Pharah, Reaper, Roadhog, as you all know that these abilities get interrupted with flashbangs, EMPs. Nothing has changed there, so we're not going to go over those heroes just so you know. Genji we've already gone over. Before, he used to get stunned out of his ultimate, losing all of his charge. Now that isn't the case, that has been changed. That's one of the major changes that's in this. And like I said before, Soldier doesn't get interrupted either, as it's a transformation ultimate, so it doesn't get stopped. Now the interesting thing to do with Tracer is that you could actually flashbang Tracer and have her lose her ultimate. But with EMP or hack at least, it's not the case, and it's also the same case with Zarya, who we will go over in a bit. Bastion, as I said, transformation ult doesn't get interrupted, so it will still go through just fine. Hanzo and Junkrat's ultimates have fairly long cast times to begin with, so they're quite easy to interrupt with a well-timed EMP. It's like the ability is being eaten by a D.Va bomb. Try and think of it like that, I guess. This is where the results get interesting. Remember when I said Tracer's bomb doesn't actually get deleted, and the same with Zarya? Well, Mei's Blizzard actually did get deleted. We think this is probably the same case with D.Va and Zarya, but you have to be completely perfect with the timing for it to happen. And we tried this multiple times and could get it to work. Torbjorn and Widowmaker, again, transformation ults can be interrupted, but the main interesting one I want to go over is D.Va's Core Mech. As you see with a McCree footage, you can flashbang stun out a D.Va from getting into a mech, but she still kept her ultimate charge, meaning that she could just get in straight afterwards. Now this is no longer the case. If you get stunned trying to get into your D.Va mech, you lose all of your charge, which I think is a pretty big nerf for D.Va. Whilst we tried this with Sombra, we imagine this would be the same with being hooked whilst getting into mech, which is a big thing. Stunned, slept, all that jazz. So be very careful, D.Vas, because this is a pretty big change for you guys. When we tried with the McCree stuff, we couldn't get any changes out of Orisa. She still put down a bonga even when she was stunned. Now, again, with a well-timed EMP, it can actually be deleted and not be placed down. So again, be very careful, Orisa. Reinhardt was one of the main heroes that we highlighted when these changes went through, because Earthshatter is quite an easy ultimate to telegraph if you can sort of see it coming. And if you get hooked trying to do it, say for example you're about to Earthshatter but you get bumped up into the air by a Roadhog and die, you lose your ultimate now. You don't get to keep it. And as you've seen on screen, EMP completely hacks it as well, so you need to be careful. Roadhog is fairly obvious with a channeled ultimate. Of course he gets stunned out of it. Winston was a bit of an iffy one before. We got some pretty interesting results, but this time around he still transforms into the big primal rage ape. Zarya, as we said before, we couldn't get it so Zarya's Graviton Surge was eaten up by the EMP, but with the fact that we had inconsistent results with both Tracer and Mei means that we're not necessarily sure, and I think Blizzard really need to iron out what that ability is going to be. The same could be said for Ana, who also had inconsistent results, but we actually managed to do it with a well-timed EMP that the nano boost did go onto the bot, Zarya. So it is possible, but again the timing has to be impeccable. Lucio, much like Reinhardt, very easy to telegraph when your ultimate is about to hit the ground. You can never really jump off of high ledges now, because if you get sniped on the way down, you don't get to keep your ultimate. So be very careful, and also watch out for those EMPs as well. You should be watching out for them anyway, because it completely destroys the shield, but you understand what I mean. Mercy's Valkyrie doesn't get stunned out of it. It's a transformation ult, so it's fine. Same with Symmetra, you can't really do anything about that. And Zenyatta remains immune to any stun effects whilst he is going into Transcendence. So as you see, we have some pretty interesting results here. Let's go back to the list of types of ultimates and talk about what ones get stunned out. All the transformation ults now are no longer interruptible and they can't be hacked. So Bastion, Genji, Mercy, Soldier, Torbjorn and Widowmaker don't have any issues with being stunned or EMP'd whilst they're trying to ult, unless they're trying to use their abilities like dash in it as well. Then you have the channeled ultimates, which are much more varied results. Doomfist and Zenyatta can't be hacked out of theirs, but of course McCree, Pharah, Reaper and Roadhog's ultimates do get stunned out of because they are channeled ultimates. But Doomfist and Zenyatta can't, unless I guess the timing has to be like completely perfect, but we couldn't get that to happen. And finally you have the cast time ultimates, which are very inconsistent results, and I think this is something that Blizzard may want to look at. Whilst Ana, Diva, Hanzo, Junkrat, Lucio, Mei, Orisa, Reinhardt and Sombra's ultimates can be interrupted with well-timed EMPs and stuns, Symmetra's, Tracers and Zarya's cannot, at least from what we experienced. If you manage to try it out yourself and get this to happen, do let us know in the comments below. But that's everything I wanted to go over, just to make sure that everybody understands the full effect of the new Sombra EMP and how these new ultimate changes are going to affect the game. This isn't on the PTR, this is in live right now. Let me know what you think below, and until next time, take care. We'll see you then.